Hey y'all, I'm BlaqueWitchYaya. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Today I am back with another Yaya tale while I do stuff. Today we are going to be making my amethyst crystals that just finished charging today. They are still a little bit warm, but today we are going to be wrapping them and then you can have them available. Oh Lord, we're making a mess. And then they will be available on BlaqueWitchYaya.com, similar to the beautiful amethyst that I have on now. I just love a cute little dainty classic wrap amethyst. Y'all know amethyst was the first crystal I was ever drawn to, and literally the first crystal I ever sold as well. So I love amethyst. These go very fast, so I hope by the time you're seeing this video it's still some left in stock, because as soon as they see the mini amethyst they go crazy. Now I appreciate you guys for your support. I hope you enjoy me wrapping them while I tell you guys a story on mirror magic. Now in my previous video I mentioned just a little bit about mirror magic, why it's so popular, and the power of a mirror. This story is going to highlight a situation where mirror magic was going well, but there was one step that was missing in the process for it to go well for that specific person. So in my previous video I mentioned how it is important to not buy a used mirror and just to plop it in your home. Many people just try to avoid buying a used mirror in general. So this story is about a young lady by the name of Jessica. Jessica worked at word of mouth marketing agency. Y'all know I just like to give random details. She worked at word of mouth marketing agency for about 5 years, or in this story exactly 5 years. The company decided to throw her a little luncheon, just thanking her for being so committed to the company for 5 years. She played such a vital role in the company. Like, they just poured out so many gifts for her. She received gift cards. She received like little body balm things, flowers, and her manager, and y'all, they had a good relationship. Usually people don't be liking their manager, but her and her manager had a really good relationship. And Stella, that was the manager's name, she knew that Jessica really liked antique objects. Like in her home, there's nothing from Home Goods like here. There, like, I am Home Goods and Raw Stout. She loved antique items. So if you go in her home and you ask her like, oh, where'd you get this vase from? She'll say, oh, a flea market when I was in Texas. Like, just random artifacts like that. And she really took her time to decorate her home. And Stella was actually moving out of her home and she was downsizing. So she knew that she had a special piece of her home that Jessica would really like. So Stella pulled her aside and she told her like, hey, I know you like antique items. I was kind of embarrassed to give it to you in the conference room. I don't want people to think I'm giving you a used gift, but I'm downsizing my home and I know you'll appreciate a nice find like this. I found it myself from a flea market a few years ago, and they don't even make this kind of gold trimming anymore. So I knew you would appreciate it. I'm sure you'll make it look nice in your home. And literally Jessica went crazy because she's been on the hunt for a gold trim mirror to go in her bedroom for the longest, and this was close to the one that she's been looking for. So she was super appreciative. As soon as she got home, she popped that bad boy right over her dresser in her bedroom, and it was the perfect match. I wish I could describe to you guys how it looked, but it looked like just that royal Roman old rich people type trimming, and it was very heavy and sturdy. You could tell it was like a real antique mirror, not a little cheap little, oh, I got this for $12 at Ross. It was a really heavy duty mirror, and she was really appreciative of it. So outside looking in, I know y'all like, oh, she just took that mirror and slapped it right in her room. Oh Lord. So you guys, Jessica was absolutely in love with this mirror. Like, instead of doing her affirmations in the bathroom, she started doing it in her bedroom just so she can continue to utilize the mirror. Also, just a little background on Jessica. I'm sure y'all can tell by now when I say affirmation, she was, you know, she was down with the Sage Ashe. You can get your Sage Ashe shirts from BlaqueWitchYaya.com as well, but she was a very in tune spiritual person, and this story just shows like a little mistake that she made, because we all make mistakes no matter how many years we've been in our spirituality. Just one little oopsie that she made to ensure that that mirror was properly cleansed, or even cleansed at all. One weird thing about Jessica to me is kind of, well, I don't know, y'all let me know what you think. She's 32, but she does youth rituals on herself, which I get, you know, start while you young, you know, black don't crack, but sometimes, you know, it's a little crack in the ceilings. So she does these youth rituals just to keep her skin rejuvenated. While she does her facial mask, she like sprinkles different oils in them and does like different rituals on her skin just so she could continue to look young. So she basically moved everything from her bathroom, like I told you guys before, to do it into the new mirror just because she loved it so much. You know, when you get something new, you always want to use it for no reason. Like you go out your way to use it. So she started doing her face mask in that mirror while she does her youth rituals, and she kept doing this day after day after day. And usually she'll see something different with her skin, that like, you know, just like a little signal where she know it's working. But this time she didn't really see a difference. She just thought it was something she's doing wrong. Maybe it's the moon. Maybe I need to line up with the moon. Maybe it's something. And y'all, whatever she's doing, I need to learn what she's doing, because y'all, when I say it works, if y'all could see her, she literally looks like she's in high school. I need to do that because I've always looked at older than what I actually am. Always been taller than most people. But yeah, whatever she's doing, it does work. But this time it was not working on her. So one day she went to work and the whole office, you guys know when someone wears something new in the office, everybody act like they never seen the outfit before. But in this case, they were talking about Stella. Like as soon as she went into work, her coworker was like, go into Stella's office. Like she's too old to be pregnant, but something's going on with her. And so she was like, okay, that's weird. Didn't even say good morning. All right. So she went over to Stella's office, and Stella literally looked like how Stella got her groove back. She looked absolutely amazing. You know how they say pregnant people be glowing? Like Stella was up there glowing, and she was a white woman. So you know they say they don't age too well, but she was like in her 60s, but all of a sudden she just looked like she started aging backwards. Now I know y'all know already what's going on, but let's just continue the story. I was like, oh my gosh, are you like working out? Are you using new makeup? Like what are you doing? And she was like, I don't know, like everybody's saying it. I thought they were playing a prank on me at first, trying to pick on me. I thought something was on my face. I don't see a difference, but everyone's saying that I just look well rested for some reason. And she looked much more than well rested. She looked like she went and got Botox. Like she looked so well. Wrinkles were disappearing off her face, and day after day, like Jessica just noticed Stella is looking real good. Like, did she find a new man? Is she getting some? Like everybody was trying to figure out like, what you doing? People thought she had plastic surgery. Like, oh, she must have got work done, because girl, she was looking that good, y'all. And so Jessica made a remark saying, dang, I'm the one doing the youth ritual, but she up here looking younger. And now in this case, you guys, usually I'm like, okay, with the spiritual world, it is pretty easy to get paranoid and like, oh my God, I think I heard something. I think I saw something. But that's where you really have to listen to your intuition, not to get too overwhelmed, not to just shock yourself with a whole bunch of stuff, because it is easy to get like paranoid, because you have to really trust yourself, have to make sure it's the universe, your ancestors, or your spirit guides that's really communicating with you, and not you just talking to yourself. So it is easy to get paranoid if you're not as in tune. So a lot of people, I just like, calm down. If it's a message that was meant for you, you'll hear it again. Don't worry about it. Like sometimes it's like, oh my God, I saw a rotten orange on my tree. What does that mean? It's like, well, maybe a bug got a hold of it. Not everything is that deep. But in this case, I'm like, Jessica, girl, like you know this. Like this isn't your first rodeo. You've been doing this for quite some time. You didn't catch on. She just gave you a mirror. Then all of a sudden what you're doing is working on her. But let's continue the story. One day Jessica was getting ready for work. Of course, she walked over to her new mirror and she gathered all her hair products. But when she looked in the mirror for the first time, she saw Stella's reflection. And she stood there looking for a while to make sure she wasn't hallucinating. And for about a good 5 seconds, Stella was looking back at her in the mirror. So she kind of blinked a few times, and then her reflection was back. But she just chucked it up to, well, maybe I'm just a little jealous because, you know, she's looking younger and I'm looking the same and I'm up here doing all the work. Maybe she's just on my subconscious mind. Like, you never know. Y'all, I would have been like, something going on. Bring out the tarot cards. Jessica went to work and cared about her day. She was literally ignoring all the signs. But I guess when you're not thinking about it, it is kind of easy to ignore stuff like that and just chuck it up to, maybe I'm just overreacting, or it's not that big of a deal. Until it happened again. The same situation. She was getting ready for work. She got her hair products. She went to the mirror. She didn't see Stella's face, but she saw an older white woman's face in the reflection, but she was crying. Now in this case, she knew she wasn't going crazy because she's like, okay, last time the reflection was just staring back at me as if it was doing the same thing I was doing, but now I'm seeing a white woman crying. Who is this white woman? So she went to work, but this time she was a little bit more on guard that day because I really threw her off track. That's kind of, imagine seeing a random old person crying in your reflection and you like, who is that? That day they had a meeting in Stella's office, and literally Stella has almost every, y'all know those managers who just have a picture of everybody in their family on their desk? That was Stella. So when Jessica went into her office, she started looking at all the pictures, and then she saw a picture of Stella's mother, the same lady that she saw in the reflection, but she was crying. Y'all know sometimes when you have like an intuition or a feeling about something, you can't really share it with people just because you don't want people looking at you like you crazy. Like nobody at Jessica's job knew she was like spiritual, just because, you know, you kind of got to watch who you share it with, because people just think, oh my gosh, you're spiritual, you do evil stuff. So nobody at her job really knew how spiritual she was. So she wanted to like tell Stella like, hey, when I looked in the mirror today, I saw your mother crying. But she knew Stella would be like, girl, what? Like, what does that mean? Are you sure? So that's when it finally clicked for Jessica. She was like, okay, I saw you in my reflection. I'm seeing your mother in my reflection. It's something up with this mirror. That's when she started doing her research on mirrors, and then she realized, oh ish, like literally every ritual, every affirmation, everything I've been doing in this mirror hasn't been working for me because it's been working on other people. And y'all, the beauty ritual, the affirmations, all that stuff wasn't the only thing she was doing in the mirror. She was doing all of her manifestations in the mirror. She was bigging herself up in the mirror. All of the things she was doing in the mirror was just applying to random people whoever looked into that mirror, because like I said in my previous video, mirrors are portals, and it holds the memory of everybody who ever looked at it. That's why when you buy a used mirror, you want to make sure that you cleanse it, because their energy is still within that portal. So that's when Jessica finally, it clicked for her. I was like, what's not clicking, Jessica? Like, what are you going to do with a used mirror? So she took the mirror off the wall. She wrote her full name, middle name, last name, everything into the mirror with a dry erase marker. She put sage all over the mirror. She sat the mirror in the sun for 12 full hours. She literally woke up at sunrise to catch the first glimmer of the sun, sat it in her backyard, and just let it sit back there until sun set. And from that day, Stella started looking like Stella again, and Jessica affirmations and spell work was working for her. Now that is just a little short story just to remind you guys to be careful with mirrors. Not to scare y'all, because it's like, it's really not that scary, but just don't buy used mirrors or anything used at that, because that person's energy is always on it. And just think of it when you buy a new home. You know how people sage the home because it's people previously been living in it, all of that stuff, everything carries energy. So you just want to be cautious. Now in this case, it was a drastic way of saying, hey, you need to cleanse this mirror. This may not happen for everyone, but as soon as you get the opportunity, make sure you cleanse your mirrors. Even if you got it from like at home goods or whatever, still cleanse the mirror. You don't know who looked in it while they were walking through the store. You just want to be selfish with your items. You want your energy to be the only energy that's on it because it's yours, and you want it to work for you. But thank you guys so much for tuning into this story time. I hope this helped you guys out a lot when it comes to mirrors, understanding mirrors, mirror magic, and the power that mirror holds. Even if we're not thinking about it, they are just powerful objects that we could use on our spiritual journey. But thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Like I always say, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. Until next time, you guys, Ashe, baby.